Hello, it's great to see you all here. So, what images come into your mind when you think about the Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area? Beautiful coral reefs, white sandy beaches, colourful fish. It's very pretty, isn't it? Well, did you know that this region also covers about 40,000 kilometres squared of seagrass? Look at it. It's brown, it's beautiful. Look at that mud, stunning. That's a World Heritage value just there. So seagrasses perform multiple important functions. They're a very important component of our reef ecosystem. They are nursery habitats for fish. They're the primary food source for dugongs and turtles. They sequester carbon and stabilise sediments. And they also perform a very important function for humans. This very interesting study came out on the cover of Science last year, and it was led by a former PhD student at our centre, Jolie Lamb. And Jolie Lamb and her colleagues found that seagrasses remove bacterial pathogens from the water that cause disease in humans, such as dysentery. And what is the source of those bacterial pathogens? Human poo. Seagrass filters human poo. I shit you not. I had to do it. So seagrasses enjoy living in their muddy homes, but too much mud caused by river discharge and dredging is not so great for seagrass. Climate change, also not so great for seagrass. These natural and human-caused hazards actually happen quite often for seagrasses, especially in the Central Great Barrier Reef region around Townsville, which is where I live. Now, seagrass, based on field studies, is also known actually to be able to recover, to come back from these disturbance events, generally within a couple of years, even when these disturbance events are very large, like severe tropical cyclone Yasi. And so what enables seagrass to sort of recover and return to its sort of natural form? Well, seagrasses are a very interesting kind of plant. They're the only marine flowering plant, and just like their terrestrial ancestors, they use flowers and seeds and fruits to reproduce, disperse and recruit. Now, this movement of propagules between different meadows and supplying different meadows and replenishing other places is actually really important for seagrass recovery. And all things being equal, the more connected you are to other meadows, the greater your likelihood of recovery after a disturbance event. So our question was, how connected are these seagrass meadows in the central GBR? And to assess this, what we did was use an oceanographic model to model the movement of water and currents in this particular region, and then from that model the dispersal of propagules which use these waters and currents to move around. And we found a couple of really interesting things. First, we found that seagrasses can actually move really long distances under the right kind of wind and current conditions, up to 900 kilometres. That's from Brisbane to Sydney. We also found that seagrasses in this region are incredibly highly connected to each other, which means that they're more resilient to disturbance events like Tropical Cyclone Yasi. In fact, we found that it would take a disturbance event twice the size of Tropical Cyclone Yasi to break this connectivity. And then we thought, well, is this the case for all seagrass meadows? And so we did the same kind of study, but this time we did it up in Torres Strait between Queensland and PNG, and we found something entirely different. During that seagrass reproductive period, seagrass tends to just move back and forth a bit as with the water currents, and there's no net movement of water, which means seagrass connectivity is actually really limited in this particular area. But remember how I said that seagrass was the primary food source for dugongs and turtles? Well, Torres Strait is also known as the dugong capital of the world. And research conducted by PhD student Samantha Toll found viable seagrass seeds in the poo of dugong and turtle. You should come and do a PhD at JCU and you can do the same kind of thing as well, right? This is her with a sample out in the field. So dugongs are known to move around quite a bit, and they can move actually quite large distances, up to 650 kilometres. And so by doing so, they spread these seagrass seeds throughout the Torres Strait, down through the GBR and into southeast Queensland. And within then, they connect all these meadows in the region, enabling them to recover from disturbance events. Looks like you've got a lot of dugongs down here in Moreton Bay. Thank you very much.